Welcome back to the Red Carpet Show for the IHSBCA 2025. We're at the Sheridan at the Crossing in Indianapolis. Our next inductee is Brian Jennings. He's been away from the dugout about one season. He was a coach at Griffith High School in Northwest Indiana for 27 years.
24 there. Yep.
24 there. He's an 87 grad of Whiting High School and 91 of Indiana State University. He began his baseball coaching career at Whiting in 96, and then he went to Griffith in 99. At Griffith, which now plays on Brian Jennings Field, by the way, he won 14 sectionals, 4 conference titles, made a trip to the state championship game in 2001, and he won 448 games. And now he is still a administrator at Griffith High School, but he also is a basketball, football, baseball broadcaster. You might hear him doing Big Ten women's basketball or Missouri Valley basketball, or he's on the IHSBCA state finals a lot. Coach, have you gotten the Jones to coach? You just got up and did that for half your life.
Yeah, I miss parts of it. I do. I don't miss the daily grind of it. You know, it's weird now because I'm at a point in my life now where it was time to find the next challenge for me. Not that coaching's not a challenge, because obviously it's more of a challenge now than it's ever been. But it was just time to make a move. I miss the competitiveness on the field and coaching against great coaches and guys who I consider my friends. I miss the game itself, being on the field, the competition side of it, miss these kind of things. But I don't miss the daily grind of it. I don't miss the off season. I don't miss January, February inside the field house. But I do miss being around the game itself in the true sense of the word, yes.
Does being an administrator help to be a coach and vice versa?
Yeah, I think it really helped me a lot because you have to be organized. You had to have time management. You have to be able to handle personalities, manage people, and it's no different than being a coach. And I'm glad to see a lot of schools going back to letting their administrators coach. I think it's something that, if they want to do it, let them do it, because we're hurting for coaches who are in the building at the high school level nowadays. And if you can find somebody that wants to do both and can do both, because it's hard, there's no question. But I think if you can find the right balance, I think you can do it. And I think it's a good thing, because I think being a coach really prepared me for being an administrator. Just from the standpoint of I had to handle people, I had to have time management, and I had to handle personalities that probably weren't always in the best of moods.
How much did it help you that a lot of your good coaching friends are, you wanted to beat each other's brains out when your teams are playing each other, but you're sharing information and you're socializing with them and everything else?
I mean, coaching's about stealing, really. And what I mean by that is you steal things from different people. I've every time I talk to a coach, I'd listen and I'd pick something up. And when I would come to these clinics when I was younger, I would sit and listen to guys like, Coach Schreiber talk, or Coach Murphy from Valparaiso, or some of the other Hall of Famers. And I just keep my mouth shut and speak when spoken to, because I was just trying to pick things up and learn and listen and just talk the game of baseball. And I think that the one thing about baseball coaches is that there's so much downtime. It's a game of communication. It's a game of people. And I think that you can't help but talk to coaches and talk to kids during games, because there is so much downtime. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits of the game.
I think you learn some of those lessons or the way other people do them, and saying, well, I don't see it quite that way, or I don't have that personnel. You can always adapt things that you can use in your program.
No, I would agree with you. I think that's you take what you hear from other places and other coaches, and you sort of adapt it to the situation you're in. And a lot of high school coaches do that, and I think that's part of the game, and that's part of what you do. What you do, you take what you have and you try to fit what you want to do to the talent level that you have.
As long as you coach, you probably have 500 or 600 players that you coach, or maybe something like that. Is it gratifying to hear from some of those players? I'm sure you hear from them.
Yeah, it was overwhelming when this.
And know them as adults rather than kids.
Yeah, it was really overwhelming when this whole thing came out, because a lot of guys reached out to me, and now that you know, you do this long enough, they're not kids anymore. They're doctors and they're lawyers and they're carpenters and they're firemen and they're policemen and they're vice presidents of groups and doctors. And you don't realize it in the moment that you're having an impact on a 17-year-old kid, but you realize it well after the fact. And it was really overwhelming, the entire process, and hearing from my guys. And nobody's in this position without, at least at the coaching level, nobody's in this position without having outstanding players and coaches. And I've been as fortunate as anybody.
Your wife is Luann, and you have 2 stepchildren, Ashley and Steve. You want to talk about your family?
I have a great family. My dad always used to say that being a parent didn't come with directions, and being a step parent really comes with no directions. So the common denominator we had when I met their mom was that they were both athletes. Ashley was a college athlete, an academic All-American during her time. Steve was an outstanding athlete. He decided to go into the trades route. So the common denominator we had was athletics, and I got to coach against Steve. So it was weird at first, but outstanding family member. I've been so blessed, and it's a cliche, but I think it's true. My wife lets me do what I wanted. She let me do what I wanted. The only thing she ever said to me was, "Don't bring it home." And early on, that was hard because I'm an emotional person. And she always said to me, if you're lost and you're in a bad mood, go right downstairs and watch TV and come up when you're ready. So she's been very supportive.
Let me know about it.
Right, exactly. She's been very supportive. She's always said, just make sure you do what you need to do when you need to do it, and just communicate with me. And she's been the rock, there's no question.
Well, congratulations. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy to introduce the 218th inductee to the Indiana High School Hall of Fame, Mr. Brian Jennings.
Nicest guy from the region, so there's a third table back, a bunch of my buddies from the region. I figured out why they're in the middle. That's because all the security cameras can focus on the guys from the region, so. And anyhow, thank you for being here tonight. This is just an incredible honor for my family and I. I want to thank the IHSBCA for what they do for baseball in the state of Indiana. I've been fortunate enough to travel around the world with the ABC, or around the country, going to different ABC conventions over time, and everywhere you go in Indiana, around the nation, Indiana is well respected. So that's a tribute to these guys and what these guys do up here. They do an incredible job promoting the game of baseball in Indiana. Thanks to Shane Edwards for nominating me. Shane, I appreciate it. When you told me that you had nominated me a number of years ago, I was a little taken back and even embarrassed by it, but I do appreciate it. Congratulations to the other inductees tonight. This is a big night for everyone, for your families. Be proud of it. I know my family's proud of it as well. I want to mention Mark Schellinger. Mark and I are quasi-related now. So he and I have had a great relationship down through the years. And through marriage and family and that sort of thing, we're somewhat related. You might say shirt-tail cousins, and I'm proud of him for what he did and his team did this year, winning the state championship. So congratulations to you. I want to make sure I mention that. I was fortunate enough 28 years ago to get hired by Griffith High School. I was in a position at Whiting where I was coaching baseball and teaching, but unfortunately I had a license snafu and I had to resign my position. So I got my license all taken care of, got back on track, and what at the moment was the worst thing that had ever happened to me, when you lose your job at your hometown school, turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me once I got it situated and I was able to go to Griffith. I work for incredible people right now. The entire school corporation, since I've been there, has been nothing but supportive, and I have a bunch of people here tonight from Griffith I want to introduce, because I think it's about other people tonight, not me. I want to mention our CFO here tonight, Terry Chance. Thank you for being here. Our high school principal, John Chance. By the way, John played at Morton High School in 2 of our sectional championships. We beat him, so thank you for that, John. Our middle school assistant principal, Elena Anderson. She was a former student athlete at Griffith and a kid that I've watched grow up and I'm very proud of. Our assistant principal, Kimberly Kinney. Our dean of students and my golf consultant, Mike Worrells. Our athletic director, Kelly Greer. Our assistant AD, Olympia Teenstra. Our board attorney and my former fraternity brother at Indiana State, Dave Dixon. Our new baseball coach, and a young man who played for us in the program and who was one of the hardest working kids I've ever coached, is our new baseball coach, Andrew Brady. You know I got your back on anything, kid. Our superintendent, Leah Dumazic, couldn't be here tonight, but I appreciate everything she's done for me and for my family and for our school corporation, because we have a really good thing going. Anybody that tells you you win because of the coach is ridiculous. Obviously, It's about your former players. It's about all the players in your program. And I was fortunate enough to have incredible kids come through our program. Blue collar kids from a blue collar community in the region who worked hard at what they did. And we had over 40 kids go on to play college baseball. Not all of them stuck with it. Some of them, just quit and went to school or whatever. But at the same time, they believed in what we tried to do. And I'm proud of that because our kids were really good kids. And I think the true testament of being a coach is when you're, 25 years later and you bump into them and they see you and they say, hey, coach, thanks for everything you did. And now they're doctors, lawyers, firemen, carpenters, electricians, whatever it is. And they call you coach. I think that's the coolest thing that you could have happen to you as a coach. And that really shows that you have an impact on somebody. When they're 17, they probably don't like you. And I know a lot of them didn't like me because at times that could be a bit of a challenge. And, but later on in life, when I saw them, it was really cool what they're doing now, and I'm proud of that. We had great assistant coaches, and that's the lifeblood of any program. Some of them are here tonight. I want to mention Jeff Rutherford, Jesse Forrester, John Novosel, who now is at Lake Central. Hell, Coach Novosel, you coached with 2 Hall of Famers, so it must be you. So anyhow, thank you for being here, Coach. Also here tonight, Drew and Kathy Martin. Coach Martin was with us for, 15 years, Drew?
Yeah, something like that.
And he was up for another job at another school. He didn't get it. And at my wedding reception, I said to him, when I get back from our honeymoon, we need to talk because I want to get you on board. So we did. And it was the second best decision I ever made that day. So he joined our program, and he really took us to another level. He took care of our field. He took care of the off-season weight program. He did a lot of things that took a lot of pressure off of me. Being an assistant principal or dean of students, I had some activities and some things going on where I might not make practice all the time. So Drew was there, and when Drew got there, that really took us to another level. We were fortunate enough to host the sectional and the regional for a number of years, and that was one of our goals. So when Drew came aboard, it really took us to another level, and I'm very appreciative to Drew. I'm very appreciative to his wife, Kathy. She was our statistician for a number of years as well. We had a booster club like many of you here. I just was fortunate enough to have a great group of parents. We raised a lot of money for our kids. They were very supportive of us, and you can't do it without money, and you can't do it without resources. So we were very lucky at Griffith to have our baseball booster club do what they did for us. I was involved in a summer organization for a while. I want to mention the Hammond Chiefs organization, Dave Sledkowski. The guy's a legend in baseball up in the region, and many of you down here know him. So thanks to Dave. We've traveled the country for over 20 years. I've had a lot of great memories. I picked up a lot of baseball from him and from his organization and other guys in the program tonight who were here. So I appreciate that. We've had a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll have a lot more fun as we get older, no question. Well, you're getting older, I'm not. I think your foundation makes you what you are. And I was very fortunate to grow up in a community in Whiting in the middle of the region on the tip of the lake. Grew up in the shadows of a tank field, smokestacks, the whole shot. True region without a doubt. And that community, I think, really shaped not only me, but my brothers and my family as a whole. And I was very fortunate to grow up in that community. Great youth program, great young coaches growing up who took care of us, who taught us the game, taught us life, were role models, who did a lot for us as people and really just showed us how to be young adults. So I'm very proud of that, and I'm very fortunate to grow up where I did. Also, there was a guy by the name of Al Pilarczyk who played Major League Baseball from Whiting, and he is in the Hall of Fame as well. I think he was an '87 graduate. So to me, it's pretty cool to be in the Hall of Fame and another Whiting native with a guy that played in the big leagues. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of that. I want to mention Joe Stahura, the former mayor of the city of Whiting, who was here tonight. He was an outstanding player growing up. I used to idolize him and watch him play. So I'm honored that he's here tonight for this as well. Once I got out of high school and college, I came back to coach and teach at Whiting, and it was a great opportunity for me to sort of figure out where I was going to go and what I was going to do. I was sort of in between, what I wanted to be, that sort of thing. So I came back and I started coaching, and I had an opportunity to take over the baseball program in '96. Well, my best friend just happened to be the AD, and he's here tonight, Ed Riscosi. We call him Moon. They're all of his brothers and sisters are Moons, so that's just, we call him Moon. So anyhow, he gave me the baseball job. I had to go through the process. So I get the baseball job, and the first thing he says, he said, go ahead and get yourself some uniforms, just keep it green and white. Well, I had told him I wanted to get Oakland A uniforms. He said, just keep it green and white, 2 colors, that's it. Well, I get the Oakland A home look, green, white with the yellow trim. So he sees the uniform, we start screaming at each other. Now remember, we're best friends growing up. We're screaming at each other in the office because I buy uniforms, he tells me not to buy it. And I figured the other guy that applied for the job had a felony on his background check. So he wasn't going to get the job, so I wasn't too worried about it. But nevertheless, my job almost ended before I even got it. So thanks for being here tonight, Eddie. I want to mention my family. My wife, Luann, of 15 years, is here tonight. Thank you for everything. I knew this was going to happen. Best advice she ever gave me was, she said to me one time, she said, if you lose, don't bring it home. If you do, go downstairs. And that's what I did. And that's what I do. So, even though I'm not coaching anymore, I just go in the other room. So nevertheless, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for everything. I love you. My stepkids, which I know they're my stepkids, but I never tried to treat them like that. Ashley, who is down here tonight with her and her husband's firstborn, Beckett, my 1-year-old grandson. They've got another one on the way later in the summer. Proud of Ashley. She is an assistant principal in the Crown Point school system. She's here tonight. My son-in-law, Dave, who is an English teacher and the girls' head soccer coach at Crown Point, is here tonight. As I mentioned, my grandson, Beckett, who is just the coolest thing around. As I said, our second grandchild is coming this summer. My stepson, Steve, is in California. He is a carpenter. He's out in California right now, out there. He actually is living in LA, so he sort of sees what's going on out there, and obviously it's a tough situation, but he couldn't be here tonight. My brother Brad and my sister-in-law Teresa couldn't be here tonight as well. It's just an unfortunate thing with the job situation came up, so he can't be here. My brother Brett and his wife Stephanie, we all played sports growing up. We all sort of found our niche. My niche happened to be basketball. My brother Brad's niche was baseball. My brother Brett's niche was football. And we grew up in a household where sports was pretty much it. That was just the way it was. We were going to play. We were going to be involved because our dad was involved. And so that's how we bonded. We bonded over sports. And anybody that knows our family knows that we were raised with structure, discipline, and love. Tough love. There ain't no doubt about that if you knew our family. We lost our mom 13 years ago to cancer, but she was the rock because Dad worked a lot in the mill. But when he came home from the mill, he would find time to play baseball with us. He would always take us out in the backyard, hit us baseballs, and just taught us the game, taught me the game. And he was just a great role model for all of us. But if anybody knows my dad, and many of you in this room do know tonight, he's very opinionated. So he would come to the games over the course of the time, and he would sit on our side, but he had to quit sitting on our side because he would get pissed because the parents our parents would be ripping me, and he'd get mad. So then he'd go sit on the visiting team side, and then the next thing you know, he's arguing with one of the visiting team players' parents. Am I right? So then I put him down to third base. I shouldn't say that. He moves down the third base side at home, and I got to hear him in my ear. So I put windscreen up on the third base side so he couldn't sit there because I didn't want to hear him. So nevertheless, he's a guy who, my dad is by far my biggest role model, and he was hard on us. He was hard on me, but I think we turned out okay. In closing, I'll say this. I think when I got into this profession 30 years ago roughly, I never thought I'd be in this position. My first year as a head coach, we won one game, and we lost like the next 25 in a row. And I wouldn't have never thought this. I'm incredibly humbled to be up here tonight. This is an incredible honor not only for me, but for my family, for the Griffith Public Schools, and it's an honor to be here in front of you this evening. And I'll leave you with this. We tried to have a philosophy at Griffith where we wanted our kids to have an experience like they played in the big leagues. And we wanted them to feel important, feel special. We would get them equipment. We would give them things that nobody else in the school had because we wanted it to be an experience for them. And I sort of take that same philosophy to this situation. If that was their big league, then this is my Cooperstown. Thank you.